Morning, sir.
Yeah, morning, morning. So the last module it is application layer. I think we have seen about the purpose of various layers. Application layer directly which involves with the end user. For example, what are all the different applications? Suppose I want to send the mail, then or I want to access any website. So similarly, I want to that is, I want to access any www website, or I want to access any HTML sites like HTTP dot HTML sites I want to access. All these things are it is nothing but it directly related with the end user. So this application layer will deals with domain name, how we can be able to assign domain name, then how we can be able to send the email using protocol, how we can be able to access the World Wide Web, how we can be able to access HTML web page. So it is having three, four the topics. So it is also very easy to understand as well as to get score also in the fact. You kindly concentrate more on even that module 6 and 7. So most you can be able to get good marks also in the fact. Today we will see about the domain name space, domain name systems. Then we will say about SMTP, that is a simple mail transfer protocol. These two today we will see. The remaining topic, I think next Tuesday we will see. So this is domain name systems. So the name itself indicates how we are going to assign a domain. What are all the different types of the domain access? So all these things we will see in this topic. So for example, suppose user is sending mail. User is sending a person at wonderful.com or a person at gmail.com. So this related with the mail. So these will be handled by the simple mail transfer protocol, which you will see in the next talk. Which will see in the next talk. So if he want to send a mail to this person, first that SMTP protocol should access wonderful.com. So to accessing wonderful.com, it need that DNS server as well as DNS client, because the domain name systems, all these things involve domain name systems, Gmail and wonderful or yahoo.co.in, all these things, even vid.ac.in, all these things, it is nothing but domain name space or domain name systems. Similarly, each and every domain, it is having one IP address. Each and every name for the domain, it is having one IP address. Because without anything in the globally in the internet, so all these will be only represented using IP address. Because for example, if without any IP address, if you are if you are representing, if you are the system is accessing using wonderful.com or gmail.com, so system will get lot of the confused, maybe wonderful1.com, some may start the website like this. So automatically the system will get confused. So for unique, for each and everything, for the unique identifications, always any domain will be represented using only IP address in the backend. So now I want to send a mail, then SMTP client will access the respective the ID IP address from DNS client for further processing for wonderful.com or gmail.com. So this is the main purpose of the DNS. All those backend work will be done by a IP address, by a domain name systems, by a DNS server. But in the front end, we used to give all those name, website name. In the back end, all these things to be taken care by the DNS server. So the namespace. So names assigned to machines must be carefully selected from a namespace, because without If you are not properly selecting the namespace, automatically it will get confused. Similarly, by using IP address, we should select the namespace. So the domain namespace, it is having the lot of the hierarchical. Always it will start from the root. It will start from root. For example, so if you take our VIT also, it is VIT.ac.in. So this IN it is in first level. From here it will come to IN. This is first level. Second level AC. From again it will go to AC. Third level it is in final VIT. So it will, it will search from root. It will search like this. Then it will combine all the respective the domain name space. Then at the last in the root it will display as VIT.ac.in. So this IN indicates it is India. So this AC indicates it is academic. So this VIT, it is a specific name for a particular user. So anything, any the domain namespace, it will, always pop up from the root, because it will always from pop up from the root, from, this right side, left side. This is, the generic. So this IN, all these things, if you see here, it is a generic. It is the overall for India. So it will, first level, it will identify in, then AC, then VIT. In the reverse, after reaching end, it will combine all, then it will display as VIT.ac.in at the root side. So in this way only, the domain name spaces will be assigned. Maximum it may have a 128 levels, but mostly we are not using that much of maximum. We are using 4 or 5 levels. The same thing I think I told. So if you see here, .edu, then it will go next. So for example, so .in, then it will go to .ac, then it will go to VIT. So it is nothing but 1, 2, 3. So 3 level tree is there for VIT.ac.in. Yeah, the same thing I told you. It will start from root. First it will go to edu, then FHDA, ATC, then Challenger, then combine all these things. Then it will give the domain name. So next, this is very, very important. So domain name, you can differentiate domain name as fully qualified domain name or partially qualified domain name. Maximum you will get maybe questions from either the previous or this or next. You will get a question from the DNS. You will get a question from DNS. So if you see here, this is fully qualified. The meaning is it is containing the actual name, then it containing subdomain, it ends with dot. Always, it should end with dot. If you note down, if you are copying any the domain, any domain from the server, it will end with dot. So if you see here, it is not end with dot. The dot is missing. So this is fully qualified domain name. It is 100% correct. This is partially qualified domain. Similarly, cs.hme. So always that that last should be ended with like edu or .com or .int or .in like that with the specific the domain name. See here, it is just cs.hme. It is not ending with the generic domain. So this is also partially qualified. See here, www.thefunny.int, see only www. So here all those things will be missing. So if you see here, all these website are DNS or it is a fully qualified domain name. All these things are it is a partially qualified domain name. If you compare these two, always that fully qualified domain name length will be higher than the partial qualified domain name. So if you see the domains, how the domain will work, all those informations which is there in the disk will be copied to the primary server. This is the primary server. This is the disk or root. All those informations, if it is there, will be copied primary server. All these informations from the primary server will copy to the secondary server. So all those will be there from the secondary server will copy to the next one. Next one. That is a zone level. Similarly, domain name may be classified as domain may be, I think this also explained. Domain may be classified as three in the internet: generic domain, country domains, and inverse domain. So from name itself, you can be able to understand what is country domains. .in, .cn China, .ca Canada, .us, .w Zimbabwe. So if any domain name ends with specifically related to the particular country, then those DNS name will be classified as country domains. You may get question from these also. We may give different website address. You should identify whether it is a generic domain or country domain or it is inverse domain. Country domain means always it will end with specific at the shortcut of the country, the last field of in a DNS. Generic domain, the last field of the DNS, it is the gender. If you take gmail.com, so this .com, it won't specific to the country. It is a general .com. Similarly, yahoo.com, it is general domain. But yahoo.co.in, it is a country domain. Yahoo.co.1 will, you can be able to assign anything, any mail ID only from India. Only from India. You can be able to create only from India. So generic domains, for example, .edu. It is common for education institute. .org. .org, it is for an organization. So these type of things will be called as the generic domain. So generic domain means always it will contain the general domain like a .com, .org, .edu, .int like that. Country domain always at the last field it should be for a specific country .in, .cn, .ca, .us, .ezw Zimbabwe, or Romania .ro, it is for Romania. So this is country domain. What is inverse domain? Already even during the first of this class I told, even if you are having vit.ac.in, in the backend it is having IP address. So the inverse domain means the domain which will be represented using IP address. That is the inverse, because from forward to we are going for backward, from name to we are going for an IP address. Inverse means from IP address we should identify the name. So inverse domain always it will represented using IP address. Suppose any domain, any DNS, if it is representing with like this is nothing but inverse domain. So inverse domain will be represented using IP address. Generic domain will be represented using .com, .edu, .org, .int. Country domain, it is specific to the particular company .in, .ro, .cn, .ca, .es, .ezw. So even from the given domain name itself, you can be able to identify whether it is a generic domain, country domain, or inverse domain. Yeah. So generic domain that is aero.com, .gov, .edu, .goe, .info. .goe, it is a general domain. If it is .goe.en, then it is an other country domain. It is country domain. Like even yahoo.co.in, yahoo.com, it is general domain, generic domain. Yahoo.co.in, it is a country specific domain. .org, .net, .name, .mil, .int. All these things are generic domain. So this is few examples. Country domain, I told the different companies. France, it is having different companies, that is country. Inverse, it is this the inverse. It is inverse. If it is represented using IP address, then it is nothing but it is the inverse domain. So the resolutions, a mapping a name to an address or an address to name, because we want to map from bit.ac.in to the address. Similarly, address to the name, that is called as resolutions. The recursive resolutions, it will always start from client. Always start from client. It will go to reach the root server. It will go to end users. Then it will combine. It will combine. Then it will reach. I think this we can study. Then similarly for iterative. The DNS messages, it will contain two. One is nothing but query. Next one is the response. From name itself, you can understand. Query, it is nothing but always any message it contains header. The meaning is to identify the destination address. Then in the query, it will contain question records. Because query means we are asking some queries, some questions. The response, it should contain answers. So the response message consists of header, the respective address, question records, for which questions I am going to give the answer. Then who gave the answer? Who gave the answer? Who replied this? Authoritative records. Then additional records, if any. If you want to attach anything, that is additional records. So in a query, it contains header plus the question records. Then in the response, it will contain header, question, answer, authoritative, that is who gave this answer, then any additional attachments, the same thing. Yeah. So we have seen about DNS, domain name systems. It is an which is used to represent any domain name. So domain name, actually, always it will start from the root. Even if it is fully completed, means if it is FKEN, fully qualified domain name, means it contain all from www to .com. It should end with dot. If it is a partially, it won't have all the terms. Then depending upon the representations in the DS internet, you can classify that as generic domain, country domain, and as well as inverse. So next we will move to SMTP, then simple mail transfer protocol. It is it is email. How we are sending email. Suppose for example, I am sending email. Suppose I am sending email within the systems. So I no need for any that more number of complexity agent is not required. But instead of within the system, means suppose I am sending from Gmail to Gmail. The system means here Gmail to Gmail. Suppose if I am sending any the mail from Gmail to Gmail, only that user agent is required, because always depending upon our IP address, one user agent will be assigned. Similarly for end user, one user agent will be there. If it is the same systems, no need for the multiple. If I am sending from gmail.com to yahoo.co.in, in between I need a multiple user agent is required, because Gmail is different systems, different domain. Yahoo.co.in is different domain. To match between these two, we need additional the user user agent. Yeah. So if if only within the systems, I need only user agent for my mail ID. If I'm going away that, I need the mail user agent. If I'm going with the different systems, I need the mail user agent. So when the sender and receiver of an email are in the same system, we need only two user agents. From the sender side, one user agent, receiver side, one user agent. For example, within that Outlook Express or Netcam or Mozilla or Foxmail or Gmail, it is only required. But if you are going out of that, we need more the multi-user agent. For example, if you see here, so this is very, very important. This is the typical email operation. So that alias, he is there in a.org. He want to send a mail to Bob. He is there in b.org. You see here. So this the respective the domain a.org. he want to send some person which is there in b.org. Suppose if it is only a.org, pop a.org to alias a.org, then no need for any that multiple agent is not required because both will be in the same DNS. So now if you see here, both are different DNS. Because b.org is different DNS, a.org is different DNS. So to access that, first this would be go to simple mail transfer protocol of a.org. We'll go to simple mail transfer protocol of o.org. Then through internet, it will go to the respective the SMTP POP of the respective b.org. It is nothing but the post office protocol. POP. So the post office means, suppose if you are sending the from one place to another place, so always depending upon the respective the postal address, we used to send the post by using the pin code. Like that, it is containing the POP3. It is an the post office the protocol which is used to connect, which is to interconnect two different domain, which is used to connect, which is to carry email between two different the domain. It reaches here, it will match these two, then it will send the respective to the users. So if you see here, additionally that that POP additional agent is required if you are the transmitting, to something, if you are transmitting to something. So similarly, in between, if that the receiver b.org, so all these things will also take care in between that to process, because SMTP to identify the respective B, it will send a message to nsb.org. It will respond with the respective address to the SMTP. Depending upon the respective IP address, it will connect to mxp.org using POP, then it will go. So from smtp.org, it will send a request to the message to the b.org that we want to connect, we want to send a mail. Then it will respond to the smp.org. Okay, this is the POP address, you can transmit. Depending upon the POP address, the smtp.org will send the information, the link to the pop3.p.org. Then it will connect to the respective POP. So if within the same system, no need for this 4 and 5 steps. It is only 2 steps is required, or maximum 3 steps, from a user to the server to the receiver. But since it is done in a different, first you have to access the respective the domain. You should send the message, I want to send the mail to these persons. Then that will respond, okay, this is the respective POP3 post service protocol for alias at A. You can contact them. Then that smtp.org will send a message to pop3.b.org, that is a specific address to the alias. From that, it will connect with the alias, that is with the pop@b.org. So now using these the steps, we can be able to send a mail from alias at a.org to the pop@b.org. This is the typical email operations. So the various services of user agent, because user agent, it may be within the system, it need only the single user agent. If you are going for outside, it needs a multiple user agent or multiple user agent. MUE or MTA, multiple transfer agent or multiple user agent. So what are the role of the user agent? They should compose the message, they should read the message, they should reply to the message, then they should forward the message, then they should enter the mailbox. For example, if we are typing, for example, pragasan@gmail.com. So for me, the Gmail will allocate one user agent to do all these things: composing message, reading message, replying message, forwarding message, and handling mailbox. So I think email pin, this is the normal thing. So how the format of an email? Format of an email. This is like a envelope. Suppose if you want to send normal the post mail. So automatically this is nothing but the respective the sender address, receiver address. So we are sending the header. We are sending header. So no, this is nothing but the respective the receiver address, receiving address. Then this is body of the text. The receiving side, it receiving body of the text from where it is received. Then it will reach us. In the envelope, so normally we used to write the post mail like this address. But in the email, it is only mail ID. From it is only mail ID. Here, if you see here, this is the actual physical address. Here it is only mail ID. Remaining all will be same. Header, it is from whom to whom. This is only the respective the receiving address. Then remaining all will be same. All will be same. Instead of the physical address on the envelope for the postal mail, here we are adding only the respective IP address. So normally in the email, it is having local part and domain name. This is nothing but to our specific address. Domain is gmail.com, like that. It is specific domain of a mail server. So if you want to the send, so automatically user agent, for me, Gmail will allocate on user agent. From these things, it will go to a MIME, that is a multi-purpose internet mail extensions. So it will convert non-ASCII code into ASCII code, because always all the transmission will take care of ASCII code. So the MIME will convert from non-ASCII to ASCII code, because in the email it may receive with a different form, different language, different things. All these things will be converted into ASCII code using MIME. Then the multi-transmission agent will assign all these things through SMT protocol. It will reach the receiver side. Again, inverse process will happening. Now user agent can be able to read the message which was sent from the sender. I think this. So the symbol, the symbol mail transfer protocol range. So normally from sender to mail server, it use either LAN or WAN. You see here, if I am typing the mail from maybe in our UAT in my cabin, so automatically from there to the local mail server, it reaches either LAN or WAN. Then from to that end user's mail server, it access internet. Again in the receiving side, it uses LAN or WAN to reach a receiver. So always, the client will send a command, then the server will give a response. These various commands. So sender host name, message, that is mailing list, the command name, all these things. So response, yeah, it is service is ready. System, the status or help ready. The start mail, you can send the mail. All these things will be sent by from the server. I think this is not required. So we have seen about using SMTP, how we can be able to send the email if both the server is on the client and as well as the user in the same systems. It use only two user agent. If it is different system means the gmail.com, like that. If it is different system, we need the multiple the user agent to transmit or to send a email from that sender to receiver using SMTP. So I will upload this also in the beta after this class. You kindly refer.